Welcome back. All right, relatively early tonight, getting things done. And just the 5 games left, so if you're looking for the other 3 games that were earlier, there's already videos on the channel of the reviews of those games. Nobody did the Canucks a favor tonight. You know, you're looking, going, all right, so the standings tell you that if these teams go... Yeah, nope, never mind. So we're up to that time of the year where there's a lot of scoreboard watching, and where I don't really pay much attention to that the first half of the season because there's so much time left. I'm starting to pay a lot more attention to who's where and who you need to see lose and who you don't. And anyways, we'll start off with Seattle in against Carolina. This is a good example of why Seattle, I think, has got a really good work ethic, but they just don't have that finish. They don't have that killer instinct, and they're not getting enough out of whatever part of the team you want to look at on any given night. It's Grubauer versus Raanta on this one. Grubauer had a very good game. It was game number 500 for Teravainen, so kudos to him for getting to 500 games. Niederreiter tips one high. There's some zone time for the Kraken, but they needed shots. Kane's press at 5 minutes. Martinook was denied. Seattle does clear that out. Seattle gets power play. It was killed off. There was just one shot. It was from Järnkrok. It was a nice save by Raanta, who also had a very good game. Canes, they turn it over, but they recover it right after. Strong first half for Seattle. The shots, in fact, with 7 minutes left are 6-4 for Seattle. So the Kraken playing pretty well. Wenberg has a rush chance. That shot deflects out. Bear then has a rush as well. He's denied. He had a couple of good opportunities late in the first. Sheahan has a chance that's saved and held. Geekie controls late. No shot, though. So the Seattle Kraken, after the first period, hold the Canes to nothing. They don't get anything themselves, but, you know, it's got to feel pretty good on the road to get that. So second period, Seattle again, preventing pressure from the Canes. We get a power play for Seattle, and they score on it. It's Wenberg from Gord and Geekie at 3:12. Geekie, of course, former Carolina Hurricane. Good three-way pass leads to that goal, but the Canes would get a power play shortly thereafter. They score on theirs as well, and it's Niederreiter from Kotkaniemi and Jarvis at 7:10. So Niederreiter puts it in. It was a nice setup by Kotkaniemi. And then we get some back-and-forth chances that follow, but Seattle gets the lead back, and it's Järnkrok from Larson at 8:16. So it makes it 2-1 for Seattle. Alexiak then defends a chance for Aho. So again, I never really get the feeling like, okay, this is Seattle's going to break through. But you know, when they're up 2-1 on the road in Carolina, I mean, that's not too bad. So the Canes' top line was getting chances. Aho's denied by Grubauer. The Canes get another power play, and they score on this one as well. It's Teravainen, so he celebrates his 500th game with a goal. Assist to Aho and Trocheck, and that was at 17:22. Schwartz was denied as he tried to answer for Seattle. In the last seconds, the Canes press. So we go to the third period with the score tied at 2. Natchez is denied on a rush. Kotkaniemi nearly buries one. The shots are 3-2 for the Canes at 4.5 minutes, so they're really getting some good opportunities at this stage. Susi with the net drive, he fires high. We get a power play for Seattle with 12:14 left. McCann has a good blast during that was saved and held. That power play's killed off. And then just past the halfway mark at 10:22, Natchez scores from Shea and Pesce, and so that makes it 3-2. Lauzon and Svechnikov get tangled up, and they just sort of fall in like a pretzel off into a corner, untangle themselves. There's no penalty called. Wasn't one necessary. Fast is then denied. Geekie has a rush chance. That was saved. With 4:42 left, the Canes get a power play, which could have made it a 2-goal game. To Seattle's credit, they killed it off. They did pull the goaltender after that. They're unable to manufacture a chance that leads to a tying goal. Your final score is 3-2 for Carolina. They go to 39-12-5. Seattle 17-36-5. The shots, 11-9 Seattle in the first, 12-10 Carolina in the second, 12-9 Carolina in the third. Final shots, 33-30 for the Canes. Power play, Seattle 1 for 3, Carolina 2 for 3. Grubauer 30 saves on 33 shots. Raanta saves 28 out of 30. So both goaltenders played well. It was an entertaining game, but again, it's just one of those ones where Seattle just comes up short. But again, next season, we'll see when they have some more skilled forwards, whether those games start going their way. All right, next up, Chicago and Tampa. So this game, really, there's this huge shift at one point during this game, but this ended up being close for a lot longer than I think we might have anticipated. So it was Vasilevsky versus Fleury. One goaltender who's definitely going to the Hall of Fame, and another that's working on that resume with back-to-back Stanley Cups and a Vezina Trophy, and he's probably going to get up in the Hall of Fame as well. Early press by the Bolts. Colton has a net feed that wouldn't go. The Hawks cleared out. Hagel was denied from the slot. They were talking during this, too, about how maybe Hagel's available at the deadline, and I couldn't jump fast enough with the I really hope he goes to a team I cheer for. Love Brandon Hagel, and if the Hawks did make him available at the deadline, to me that's kind of crazy. I think he's been one of their best forwards. Not only that, but he's very affordable. He's not a guy who's going to break the bank, so I'd be very surprised if he's available at the deadline. Doc was then denied as well. Stillman has a shot kicked aside. Kucherov's absolutely robbed shortly after that, but Chicago opens the scoring. It's Strome, who's really heated up lately, from Kane and DeBrincat at 7:51. He was left wide open, so there was kind of poor defense there by the Tampa Bay Lightning. We then have Cirelli taking a high stick. There was no call on that one. The thing that happens, you've got all these players to watch on the ice. Those do get missed at times. Pressed by the Bolts, Point fires high on that. Tyler Johnson fires high after a turnover. Johnson, of course, against his former teammates. Lafferty fans on one. The Hawks, though, seem to be the sharper team to this point in the game, and as I'm writing that down, that's what the announcer said, too. The Hawks press with 3 minutes left. Cirelli's denied on a fast break. Palat with a net feed to Kucherov, and that was defended. So going into the second period, it's a 1-0 lead for Chicago. That lead does not last. Taylor Radish would tie the game from Foot and Sergachev at 1:09. The Hawks, though, do try to answer, so the Hawks get that momentum right back. There's a net feed to Colton, near miss there, so Colton with the net feed in the first, and that feed to him doesn't go. And then Kane scores from Hagel and Seth Jones at 6:09. The Bolts press at 8 minutes, now that they're down 2-1. Point hits the post on a rush. There's a delay of game call, gives the Hawks a power play. Bolts do kill it off. The Hawks, though, get another power play. We end up with 57 seconds of 4-on-4 as the Hawks take a penalty. Stamkos was denied. Fleury holds. That's during the brief Tampa Bay power play. Hedman would score shortly after the power play ends, or as the power play ends, from Stamkos and Kucherov at 15-17. So that ties the game. Bolts then press for the lead, and they get it. And it's Cal Foote that gives them the lead from Cirelli and Point at 16:48. So going into the third period, the score's 3-2 for Tampa. That's not bad. It's only a 1-goal deficit. What can the Hawks do? Well, early press by the Bolts, and here we go. At 1:51, Hedman scores from Sergachev and Point. At 2:04, 13 seconds later, Perry scores. So all of a sudden, this is getting out of control. And then 19 seconds after that, Sergachev adds another. So Sergachev from Colton, that made it 6-2. We went from a 3-2 game to 6-2 in about 30 seconds of game time. And yeah, total shock in Chicago at that one. Things start getting kind of scrummy after that because, of course, Chicago's ticked off. They allow 3 goals in 30 seconds. I'd be angry, too. DeBrincat would score from Strome at 7:05 to make it 6-3 and get Chelsea Dagger to play yet again. DeBrincat then has a rush chance that's defended. There was a power play for the Hawks. That's killed off. With 2:11 left, the Bolts get a power play. It's killed, but basically Tampa at that point is just trying to take it home. Their final score, the final score in this one is 6-3 for the Bolts. They go to 37-12-6 with the win. For Chicago, 20-29-8 with the loss. The shots, 8 apiece in the first, 11-10 Chicago in the second, 14-8 Tampa in the third. Final shots, 32-27 for Tampa Bay. Power plays, the Bolts 0-2, Chicago 0-3. Vasilevsky saves 24-27. Fleury saves 26 out of 32. Ugly stat line for him. There was 1 or 2 in there that maybe he could have had, but honestly, Tampa's just, they're pretty precise with their shots, and they win the game. All right, next up. So, Winnipeg. I think we're at the stage now where Winnipeg likely will be selling, and I would think as soon as tomorrow, Cheveldayoff should be looking at this. So it's Shesterkin versus Hellebuck. I'm starting to think for the Rangers, I should get like a magnet of Shesterkin's mask and just start using that for when he's in net, because, man. So, New York Rangers using 11 forwards and 7 defensemen in this one tonight. Hellebuck misplays one, and then he denies Hedel, but at 2:01 on the second shot of the game for the Rangers, they score. It's Gaudreau from Trouba and Hedel. It was close to offside. They don't challenge it because it wasn't offside, but boy, was it close. By the previous year's standards, it would have been because the skate was off the ice, but that no longer matters. You just have to break the plane of the line. So there's a power play for the Jets. That's killed off. The Rangers press with 9.5 minutes left. The Jets get another power play. That was killed off. The Rangers, they then get a chance on their power play, which means it's time for Adam Lowry to have his daily shorthanded break, it seems. That was saved. 2:49 left. The Rangers go back to the power play after that first one was killed, and they score on this one. And it's Kreider who continues to march towards a power play goal record for New York. Panarin and Fox with the assists at 17:28. Color me surprised. 1:42 left. The Jets get another power play, and Shesterkin, Snow Angels to keep one out, and he's just... There aren't enough adjectives right now for Shesterkin, so I think it's time to make just Shesterkin's a verb from now on. It means being denied. Second period, the Rangers finish the kill. Pionk has a chance that's blocked as the Jets press. Zibanejad has a net drive that won't go. Shots are only 4 apiece at the half. They pick up in the second half. Jets get a power play. They do score during that. It's Ehlers from Kopp and Pionk at 13:44, so there's a little bit of hope. The Rangers, though, they try to answer. Jets go back to the power play. Pionk's shot deflects wide. It's killed off. It does get 3 shots. So a lot of power plays for the Jets again tonight. They've been generating a ton. They had 9 against Dallas. They end up with 6 tonight. Last minute press by the Rangers, and they exit this period up 2-1 going into the third. Third period, Zibanejad has a rush chance saved. 3.5 minutes in, the shots are 4-1 for the Jets. The Rangers press at 4.5 minutes. Connor dekes in close. He's absolutely robbed by Shesterkin. Kyle Connor had numerous opportunities, and just Shesterkin with the denial. And then it's Kreider from Zibanejad and Lafreniere at 6:21. And it was a beautiful deke, backhand, Hellebuck's jockstrap somewhere up in the upper deck right now. It's one of those things where Kreider, I think he's at 38 goals now. He could very well hit 50, and it wouldn't be that big of a surprise right now. Connor then with a net drive, and again, he is denied by Shesterkin. Schneider has a rush chance that's saved. That's Braden Schneider. And then Trouba scores from Panarin at 9:32 to really and truly put this out of reach. A 3-goal lead with Shesterkin playing the way he was tonight. No chance. So Shesterkin's at 40 saves at that point in the game. And honestly, not much else to say with it. Goalie pull with 2:25 left. With a minute left, they get a 6-on-4 with their 6th power play. It doesn't matter. Your final score is 4-1 in favor of the Rangers. They go to 36-15-5. The Jets 24-22-10 on the season. Your shots 16-9 Winnipeg in the first, 13-7 Winnipeg in the second, 17-6 Winnipeg in the third. Final shots 46-22 for Winnipeg. They got Shesterkin. Power plays, Rangers 1 for 2, Winnipeg 1 for 6. Igor saves 45 out of 46, and Hellebuck saves 18 out of 22. So, yeah, the Rangers, they get another victory, and I'm sure they're saying, hey, look, we don't care how it looks. We don't care if we're relying on our goaltender. We're getting wins. We're going to the playoffs, and you got to beat them in the playoffs. So, yeah, for the Jets, though, again, they're just losing more and more points, losing more and more ground. And so I would expect them to make some moves as we're now 2 weeks out from the deadline as of tomorrow. So I would not be surprised if trades start tomorrow, to be honest, and if the Jets might be leading the way. But we'll see. And now I need to change boards. Okay, so the late games for tonight are just an hour later than the others. So we start off with Ottawa in against Vegas. And, man, I feel bad for Anton Forsberg. I really do. So it's Forsberg versus Leonard. The early jump was for Vegas. Forsberg pokes checks a Riley Smith opportunity, so he doesn't actually get a shot on net. In fact, the shots are 4-1 for the Senators at 3 minutes. But that momentum shifts. Stevenson's denied. Pietrangelo has a chance that nearly handcuffed Forsberg. Didn't go in, though. Theodore with a chance that deflects wide. Pacioretty with a blast. That's held on to. The hitting was ramping up in the second half. Again, the app's not telling me hits, so I've just abandoned that for now. We'll see if it starts telling me hits later. The hits auto-populate hours after the game's done. Eichel then has a rush chance. That wouldn't go. Eichel has made a career on feasting on the Senators scoring-wise from when he was in Buffalo. Norris with a rush chance that saved. Pretty even play, though. Vegas with a 3-on-2. Smith's denied. But coming out of that first period, considering what they went through against the Arizona Coyotes, Ottawa scoreless after 1 against Vegas. Big surprise. Second period. Early chances for Vegas. Chabot blasts one high as the Senators press. Formenton steals. Leonard saves. And then Marchessault would break the scoreless tie from Riley Smith at 6:46. That was the 22nd shot of the game for Vegas and their first goal. The Senators end up getting a power play, and they score on it. At 8:53, it's Tkachuk from White and Stützle. So the Sens power play, which has been struggling, it's been anemic on the road. Maybe that's a sign it's ready to pick up at least a little bit. Leonard nearly did save that. He thought he had it, and he didn't. Eichel with a wraparound that was defended. Coughlin's denied as Vegas presses. Forsberg then holds a chance for Marchessault with 2:05 left. Vegas gets a power play. Two shorthanded chances for Connor Brown. And I agree with Gord Miller on this. He must just love when it's shorthanded. Like, hey, it's time for some offense. I think they should just tell him every time, hey, we're shorthanded. I see 5 guys. We're shorthanded. Just go out there and he could score 50. So third period with the score tied at 1. Brandstrom has a chance at saved. Remember, he was formerly Vegas property. Senators press at 4 minutes. Sanford was denied. Sanford had a really good third period. There's another denial of Sanford after that. Paul has a chance that gives Leonard some difficulty, but he does hold on to it. We're over 5 minutes between Vegas shots at this point. They went a long way. And again, this is a Vegas thing. Vegas just, they get away with it. They get away with it. Some teams get away with it. Florida gets away with it. Vegas kind of gets away with it. So there's a power play for the Sens with 12:36 left. It's killed off, but 4 shots. So full credit to Robin Leonard for his excellent performance tonight. The shots were 13-2 for the Senators, and they'd had the last 11 shots at this point in the game. So the Senators did everything they could. Leonard was robbing them. 9 minutes between Vegas shots. But once they get that first shot, after that 9 minutes, then they get some pressure. Coughlin has a chance saved, and I put they're awake, meaning Vegas is starting to click. Chabot has a rush chance that's denied with 45.1 seconds left. Vegas gets a power play. They call a timeout. And yeah, you can't do that. You can't take a penalty in the final minute of a tie game. And Eichel makes him pay at 19:54 from Pacioretty and Marchessault. He wired it. And again, I feel for Forsberg. I understand like Ottawa's out of it, but still not to get a result for Forsberg with the night he had. Your final score is 2-1. Vegas goes to 32-21-4 with the win. They needed that. Again, nobody did Vancouver any favors tonight. Ottawa 19-31-5 with the loss. The shots 17-15 Vegas in the first, 15-9 Vegas in the second, 14-10 Ottawa in the third. Considering it's a back-to-back, Ottawa played well. Final shots 42-40 for Vegas. Both teams went 1 for 2 on the power play. Forsberg 40 saves on 42 shots. Leonard saves 38 out of 39. So, final game of the night, battle in California. Went to overtime, and I had kind of expected a shootout because that's kind of what I expect between California teams. I didn't get it. So it's Sachenko versus Stolars. I like Sachenko. Just going to say straight out. I think, and again, it's a small sample size, but what I've seen of him, he's been pretty good. We get VL versus Carrick as well. So again, a fight right at the start of a game. And it feels like VL trying to fire up his teammates, and yeah, that's a good idea. San Jose needs to get fired up. Steele with a rush chance, he fires wide. Terry with a net drive, that won't go. The shots are actually 3-0 for the Sharks at 6.5 minutes, so the Ducks having trouble hitting the net. Couture opens the scoring. He gets his goal 5-hole on Stolars from Meyer and Hataka at 7:47. So the Ducks then get a power play. Sharks won't let them set up. They kill it off. The Sharks penalty kill is really good. Ducks go back to the power play. Henrique and Silverberg, they couldn't bury what were really prime chances for them. It's killed off. The Sharks, they get a power play of their own. That was killed too. A lot of power plays in this game. A lot of penalty kills. Terry has a tip that's saved. Steele was denied shortly after that. With 2:19 left, the Ducks get their third power play of the first period. They don't score on it. So coming out of that first period, there's been 3 power plays for one team, 1 for the other. And the 1 goal belongs to San Jose. Second period, Terry has a chance that's saved. That was his third opportunity that had been saved already. Lundestrom was out with a lower body injury. He did not return to the game. I didn't see exactly what the nature of the injury was, but I know he got hurt and didn't return to the game. Henrique would tie the game, though, from Comtois and Terry at 1:41. The tie doesn't last. Vlasic puts San Jose back in the lead from Milosh at 2:57. And then the Sharks end up going on to a power play. After the kill, the Ducks get a power play because that's how this game works. You get a power play. I swear Oprah wasn't the ref, but might as well have been. Sharks did kill it off. The shots are 7-3 for the Ducks with 9 minutes left. There's some flow issues to a game where you have that many power plays. Just how that works because your lines are kind of out of sync. Hurdle with a wraparound chance, that's saved. And then in the final minute, Milano ties the game from Henrique and Fowler at 1939. He buried it on a rebound. So, nice goal there for Milano. Really good shift by the Ducks that sets that up. Shattenkirk, before the period's out, nearly adds another. Very close to making it 3-2 before the horn. We go to the third period with the score tied at 2. Meyer has a chance that's saved early in the period. So Meyer has a chance that's saved early. Zegras has a chance that's blocked. The Ducks had the momentum for that first 5 minutes. They were getting opportunities. There's a press by the Ducks at 8.5 minutes. Milano with a really close call at the net, where if he had just had that puck maybe a second earlier, maybe 3 feet out further in front of the net, he might have buried it, but he doesn't. There's a net feed to Meyer. That was defended. Raquel has a chance that's saved and held. With 8:21 left, the Ducks get a power play. What did I say about the power plays? Right. So the Sharks have a shorthanded goal out of that. Middleton scores, but he's offside. And the funny thing is that as soon as he could see the linesman going over, you could see him saying, oh no, because he knew it's offside. Offside's pretty automatic. If the challenge for offside, it seems like almost every time this year it is offside. Unless it's Dean Evison calling it, and then I swear just to mess with Dean Evison and see the angry face. Let's just say it's onside. I want to see his angry face. Anyways, so that was a lucky one for the Ducks because that was a shorthand goal that was almost onside. So we end up with 8 seconds of 4-on-4 as the Ducks get a penalty, and then the Sharks go on the power play. There was a shorthanded blast for Delorier that was held onto. Then Grant has a shorthanded opportunity. That was saved, and that power play is killed off. Meyer was denied on a rebound towards the end of the period. We go to overtime. We don't last in overtime. There's no lingering in overtime. 14 seconds in, Raquel wins it from Terry and Fowler. But controversy is this. There was a belief that there was too many men on the ice. Raquel comes onto the ice before the guy he's replacing has come off. There's a certain amount of space you give a guy to come onto the ice while the other guy's coming off. The Sharks felt that was exceeded on this play, and so they didn't think it was a good goal. It's not reviewable. The officials all stood around and talked about it, and in the end, the game's over. Your final score is 3-2 in favor of the Ducks in overtime. They go to 27, 22, and 9. San Jose 24, 25, and 7 with the overtime loss. Again, nobody did the Canucks any favors. Anaheim gets both points, and they jump back ahead of the Canucks. Shots in this one, 10-9 San Jose in the first, 13-6 in the second for Anaheim, 13-6 for Anaheim in the third as well, and they get the only shot of overtime. Final shots, 36-22 for the Ducks. Power plays, San Jose 0 for 3, Anaheim 0 for 5. Sawchenko saves 33 out of 36. Stolars saves 20 out of 22. Entertaining game. Ducks end up getting the victory, and they needed this. They desperately needed it, and I think that showed in the shots and in the general flow of play. They were the better team. It was this close to going the other way. If Middleton's goal had been onside, might be having a different conversation. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.